Hi there, I'm Jill Chivers from shopyourwardrobe.com,
And I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style blog.
and we've been asked a terrific question about how to shop with good fit in mind. And this is such an important question because we've all bought something that in the changing room we thought was either okay or would be easily altered, or it didn't quite fit right but we didn't think would matter, and then we brought the item home and it did matter, or it couldn't be altered, or something else about the fit wasn't right pre-purchase, and we just never got good wear out of that item.
Because frequently too, things don't fit right. People sometimes think, I'll get it altered, and they never do.
Right.
For many people. So it depends where you are and your thought process about this. But some of the really common fit issues.
Yeah.
One of the most important I ever see is around the crotch area. It's around the groin.
Yeah.
In pants or skirts, if you see little horizontal lines created around that crotch area,
Yeah.
it's because it's too tight.
Right.
You can't add extra fabric in.
Okay.
It's too hard. So generally, don't buy it.
Yeah.
It's too tight.
That's an easy no.
It's an easy no. You
Yeah.
see horizontal lines, too tight, don't buy it.
Yeah.
If you see a kind of pouching effect where rather than as many little horizontals, it's a kind of a big, and it often with a pair of pants and it goes below the crotch.
Yeah.
That is the rise is too long. You can't fix that either
Okay.
because it's already been cut too deeply for you.
Yeah. Right.
So you can't fix it. Leave it in the store.
Another easy no.
Another easy no.
Yeah.
Now, and a too short crotch, can't really fix that either. And that's when you'll get camel toe and it's just uncomfortable to wear.
Yeah.
So would be avoiding that completely.
Okay.
So rise issues,
Yeah.
just are generally things, can't alter out of them, just leave them alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not the right fit for you.
Yeah. But there are some things that are fixable.
Absolutely. So that's some easy fixes. So if the seam's on the side, you've got a little bit too much fabric, which is common if you haven't got larger thighs or hips.
Yeah.
That you'll just get, and I almost feel like things look slightly jodhpery.
Yeah. And just that little excess there.
And that's just easy to run in.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a smaller waist,
Yeah.
you often find that you'll get gaping at the back.
Yeah.
That's also another easy fix. That we can
Okay.
have waistbands taken in. You know, it can be jeans can be taken in. Everything can be taken in
Yeah.
around the waist.
Or
That's
some
easy.
darts, something like
Some
that.
darts, things like that.
Yeah.
Hems, in general,
Yeah.
are easy to fix.
Okay.
Unless there's some sort of feature.
Right.
Now, sometimes it might be a border print
Yeah.
that if you take it up, you'll lose the print. And that might be something you might go, actually, I don't care.
Yeah.
But quite often, if there's a real detail down there that you like, it could be too difficult.
Yeah.
You can sometimes raise the whole thing up and actually take it up from the waistband,
Right.
but not everything because it depends on the construction of the skirt.
So when in doubt, probably not,
Yes.
unless you're prepared to lose the border, because it could be
Yes.
very expensive to have it taken up from
the
here.
waist, yes.
Which would only be possible really with skirts, not with pants.
No, well, not with pants, but with some skirts, like this skirt, you could take up from the waist.
Yeah.
And it would be quite an easy alteration.
Yeah.
But with some skirts, you just find, no, it's just not going to work.
So that's another probably not in the
Yes.
changing
If
room.
you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, hems on pants, very easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So tops.
That's top. So when we're thinking about tops, the common fit points is the shoulders.
Right.
So really, you want the seam of the sleeve to sit right on the kind of what we call the turn of the shoulder, where that
Okay.
shoulder bone is, that you can feel.
Right. So you just touch it there and
Touch
you
it
can
there.
feel it.
So now, if it was up like here,
Yeah.
then what'll happen is you'll put it on and you'll feel very constricted by it because there's not enough fabric in the back for you.
Yeah, right.
If the shoulder's sitting, way out here, way beyond the edge of the
Or
shoulder,
down here.
yeah, down here, unless it's a dropped sleeve,
Okay.
which you'll get in knits. But for jackets, constructed things like this,
It's kind of the dressing gown effect, isn't it? You
Yes.
look like you're wearing Grandpa's dressing gown.
It's too big, or you've got daddy's clothes on, or it's
Yeah.
too large. That's expensive to fix.
Okay, so that's another no. If it doesn't fit in the shoulders,
Shoulders.
just no.
Just no, don't bother. Not unless you want to kind of reconstruct the whole garment.
Right.
Look, but the sleeves. Now, sleeves can be an easy fix if it's just something that's plain like this.
Yep.
Very easy to have that made shorter.
Yeah.
If it's a fairly, sometimes though it depends how much needs to come out. If there's complicated buttoning or something about the feature of the sleeve, that can get more expensive.
Well, another thing you could do there, and I've done this with a couple of things where I've had a split sleeve with a button, is just to have them made 3/4 sleeves and just cut all that off.
Yeah, so that's a decision you make where you go,
Yeah.
I might lose that feature.
Yeah.
And that could be okay for you.
Yeah.
So it really depends. Of course, things like the bust is another area because we're all different sizes.
Yeah.
So generally, if you're looking for a shirt or a blouse where you've got buttoning down the middle, ideally you want a button right in the middle of the bust peak.
Right,
so that's
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the part that's going to pull the most.
And if it isn't there, if
If it
the
isn't
buttons
in
are here?
between, which is common too, is that you might find if there's enough fabric that it will sit closed when you're just standing straight. If it sits closed when you're standing straight, you can just put a little snap on it. Because of course, when we move, we will pull the garment.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't sit closed when you're just standing straight, don't buy it. Not enough fabric there.
Yeah.
So that's another issue. Sometimes with the sides, you might find it's too loose through the sides. That's not too hard to take in. You can put darts in the front, the side, the back. There's all sorts of ways you can do that.
Yeah, particularly if you say you're bigger in the bust and not so much here.
But if it's too tight through here,
yeah,
then I would go up a side. And this is where sometimes then you might have to go, well, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
So there's lots of little kind of fit points in that sort of area. Of course, you can have tops taken up.
Yeah, and darts, things like
that. And
that.
darts put in. I mean, there's, like hems.
What about hems and things like that on tops?
Absolutely, you can take them up. It's really not too complicated. So, look, with something like a knit top, one of the easiest things to do is actually just ruche up the sides. It gets some like shirring elastic and it just lifts it up without having to rehem it.
Yeah.
And you can even do that with the sleeves of knits. You just get some shirring elastic put in here and it will actually shorten the knit sleeve.
So as an alternative to either turning it up or
having a new hem put on. So that can be a really easy little fix.
Yeah. And what about when people say, look, it's the garment's just not worth having altered. It's yoga pants or something inexpensive or casual wear. I didn't spend a lot on it. It's going to cost me $15 or $18 to have the pants hemmed. Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
How should we be thinking about that?
Just because it was cheap doesn't mean you shouldn't alter it. No. You've already spent time and energy and money buying it.
Right.
So if it was the wrong length, I mean, you go, okay, and you have to value your time too. Because one of the things often people don't do is they don't value their time. They put the value purely on the value they paid for it.
Yeah.
Rather than, if I'm selling my time to someone or how much it costs me at work, how much time did it cost me to go out and actually buy that?
Yeah.
So you've got to go, $50 of your time plus, you've actually spent more on it than you really think.
Right, okay.
And then you've got to think about, well, if it was $15 to, say take the hem up, how easy is it to spend $15? What would you easily just drop $15 on?
Yeah, 3 coffees or 2 or 1, depending on what coffee shop you go to.
Yes. Or, like coffee and a cake or a quick lunch.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things. We'll drop $15 like that on something. But we'll go, it's too expensive to spend $15 on hemming that thing. But when you're wearing them and they're too long, how does it make you feel?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Because you're not feeling as good as you could.
Yeah.
Versus often what will happen is when people don't get things altered, they just don't wear things. It sits in the wardrobe unworn, and you've wasted not only the time that you've already spent doing it, but you've wasted the money. So even though it was cheap, it wasn't good value.
Yes.
So that alteration can be really kind of an important little part.
And that's a really good way of thinking about it. And I think pre-purchase, a good way of thinking about it could be, so the item's going to cost me whatever it is, and then there'll be a certain amount of alterations. And if you have a relationship with a tailor, you get to know what those fees are. Then you know the true cost of the garment.
Yes.
And you can then make a decision based on that, rather than trying to get away with not altering things or wearing it if it doesn't fit you.
Absolutely. So it's something to think about. Like, so if you're someone who just goes, I don't want to spend money on alterations, you've got to be so picky about what you buy.
Yes.
And so basically, it doesn't fit you, don't buy it.
Which has got to limit the kinds of clothes you can buy.
I mean, there's only so much, like basically you'll be in stretchy t-shirts.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and that's, stretchy pants.
So these are really good things to think about pre-purchase so that you can make a truly informed and conscious decision and make sure the stuff you buy, it fits you and you feel great in it, even if it is just casual or weekend wear.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't matter what it is, but you'll tend to find is, I bet you the pieces that you love to wear most fit you really well.
Yes, that's such a good point.
Versus the things that don't fit really well, you might adjust them all the time, you'll feel uncomfortable, it never feels quite right, the skirt's spinning around, it will irritate you. And those things take your mind off the present and what you're doing.
Yes, it's a constant awareness of them. And when you're aware of that, that's energy you don't have to use on the person you're with or the thing that you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as much as you might think, do I really need to alter? It is something that you really want to take into consideration and just think about those little tips we've given you.
Or not to buy. That's another really valid choice. We are talking pre-purchase shopping techniques here, and one of them could be there are now things you just walk away from or you say no to.
Yes, just go, the fit is not right. I'm walking away.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to hear if you have any fit suggestions or anything that you bought that you thought was going to be okay and then didn't, or your favourite alterations, things you always have to have altered that are really worth it. We'd love to hear about those.
Yeah.